My name is Roy Chan. I'm the president of the 25th World Congress of Dermatology that was just concluded in Singapore. My place of work is the National Skin Centre, where I'm a senior consultant and a medical advisor and the previous medical director. Well, I think it was incredibly successful from every point of view. We had over 12,000 participants. Close to 10,000 of whom were delegates, another 2,000 were exhibitors, and so on and so forth. So it was a huge event. It was the largest ever medical meeting in Singapore, ever. It took me 7 years, 7 years of my life thinking about how to do this. 3 years working for the bid, and then 4 years doing the actual planning for this. It's taken a lot of effort, but I think the result has been incredibly successful, so I'm very happy. And thankfully, everything turned out so beautifully. The scientific content was superb. I think that what was the universal feedback we had from our delegates. Really, really good science. The interaction, the way it was organized was so slick and professional, and hardly anything went wrong. There were no delays, there were no glitches. The Wi-Fi worked well, the app worked well, the overflow worked absolutely beautifully. And I think everybody had a great time, and all I got was accolades and all the feedback we have from people we didn't even know. But more importantly, I think that the dermatology community worldwide has benefited tremendously from being able to get together again, on such a scale and in a place which is completely safe and secure and easy to get to, easy to get around, and lots of other things besides the really good conference as well. So we've had a really, really very wonderful experience. So I think it's lifted up a lot of our horizons. I think that people will even, from ourselves, looking our Southeast Asian colleagues, they're really happy and they're very proud to have been part of this entire project, because from the outset we involved them in the planning of special Southeast Asian dermatology sessions. I think that it has lifted our expectations of ourselves. We cannot look at ourselves as being go overseas to learn. Okay, I think there's a lot of things we can teach people. At the same time, a lot of things we must improve as well. Of course, there are the medical, the scientific challenges, and I think that in any field, there's always how do we do this, how do we do that, how do we get better treatment. But the really wonderful thing which we are seeing in dermatology of the last 5 years is a sudden increase in new treatments. So dermatology is second only to oncology or cancer in terms of new treatments of all the specialties. And this is because it's suddenly because with greater science and greater technology, there's better understanding of all the pathogenesis or the cause of different skin diseases. And if we understand the causes more clearly, we can target treatment much more accurately. I think one of the areas, a couple of areas which have been really pushed, more and more, is really how skin diseases affect low-income, low-middle-income countries, migrant workers, refugees. We always think that dermatology is one of these professions that, is only relevant to affluent countries. But in individuals who come from the global south, low income, low middle income, underdeveloped, those people have the need as well. And their needs might be different, people of color. So I think that in our WCD, we had several sessions which looked at dermatology, people of color, neglected tropical diseases, which are strange, unusual infections, and even not so unusual infections, but just because they don't affect affluent countries, they're not really well researched. So the World Health Organization is now working closer with the dermatologists to include some very common but poorly served skin conditions which have, the treatments have not moved very far, because purely on the fact that it doesn't affect affluent countries so much. So we're trying to move the discussion as well to include the global skin health. So skin health for the world is one of the mantras of the International League of Dermatology Societies. Skin health for the world, not just skin health for rich countries. So that's very important. I hope that it will give young dermatologists here a bigger horizon to see that there's a lot more they can accomplish rather than just do the very sort of narrow clinical field. I've always, in my career, tried to let people think out of the box. This is much more you can do about, in your career, instead of just going to work and seeing your 20 or 30 patients and go home. Because that is important, but that's not going to advance your science. That's not going to advance the field. That's not going to advance knowledge and betterment of mankind, sort of thing. So I sincerely hope that the younger trainees and the younger dermatologists will be even more inspired to look at what other ways they can help, they can advance the field of dermatology. So my parting words today is that you must always, think big. Like, you must think big and you have a specific, very, very clear direction and focus what you want to do, and then you can achieve it. Only, if you have that very clear focus and very good organization, you can do anything.